In today's video, we unbox A Lonely Tree, an expansion for Kingdom Death Monster. Let's take a look. There are hobbyists among us, geniuses with the ability to play any game they want to. In 1978, a corporation known as The Interior isolated a young hobbyist named John and exploited his genius for their entertainment. Then one day, their hobbyist ran away. Once upon a time, there was a place of carved faces. A man with a lantern lay sleeping a dreamless sleep. The man knew nothing. One day, the man woke up. He rubbed the dried ink caked over his eyes and opened them. Around him, he saw other people stirring, and beyond, a horizon of unbroken darkness. A woman approached the man with the lantern. Her soft hand reached out to him. They had no words. They were a mystery to each other. Suddenly, a monster emerged from the darkness, its eyes wild with hunger. It attacked. The people were no match for the monster. It tore their flesh and crushed their bones with its teeth. Some it devoured whole. Overcome with terror and grief, the man with the lantern collapsed to the ground. Cold stone noses pushed into his side. There was no escape. But the man did not want to die. Desperately grasping at the stone faces, he felt a crack and tore at it with all his might. A piece of stone came free. It was sharp and deadly. The man with the lantern scrambled to his feet, his weapon clenched in his fist. He took a deep breath and roared into the dark. Somewhere in the place of stone faces, nameless men and women stand together. They have nothing but the need to survive and a lantern to light their struggle. Here we have the Lonely Tree expansion for Kingdom Death Monster. Now, one of the things that has always really confused me about this game is the shipping material or the boxes for this game. Now, the base game comes absolutely gorgeous in this absolutely gorgeous, very sturdy, secure black box, but everything else, especially like some of the premium items, comes very oddly. For example, the expansions. Here the expansions just come in this very plain, very simple brown box. There is literally nothing to it except for what looks like a hand stuck on, because it is a little crooked hand stuck on sticker for, you know, all of the expansions, and all of the expansions are basically the same, just depending on the size of the box. I'm assuming based on what is in there. Well, let's go ahead and crack this open. Now, I do love the art that they do here. These little icons, or however you want to put it, they do make sure that you let you know this is a 17+. This is a mature content game. Nothing in the Lonely Tree, I think, is mature content, but in general, I think that's more of an in general warning. It is also letting us know that the game was designed in New York, but the components are made in China. I do like that, to kind of have that little idea of knowing what, you know, what all is going on, where things are being done and made. Well, let's go ahead and crack this open and take a look. And inside, see, again, this, I mean, everything about this looks handmade. I mean, it's a whole bunch of styrofoam packing peanuts, you know, for the secure parts of here. That's keeping everything tidy, keeping everything intact. You know, not a plastic case, or not, you know, molded well, you know, together or whatever. The set itself looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, plus a little 5th sprue of content here. Very nice. And I think, oh, then we have the cards in there. Let's see, is there anything else? Doesn't look like anything else is in our packing peanuts of fun. And then the rules look like they are hiding here in the back. There we go. Let us see. Let's make sure that nothing else is hidden in here anywhere. Doesn't look like it. All right, let's go ahead and put this to the side and check everything out. Here we have the sprue for the tree miniature. Now, one thing that I have always really liked about the Kingdom Death Monster line is these little stands that they build in to their sprue, so that way when you put them in there, they kind of connect, stand together, and it keeps them from rubbing, keeps them all together and ruining parts during packaging, shipping, or whatever. I've always really liked that. We'll go ahead and look at these first. Now these look like they are all the leaves and foliage for the tree. Now, one thing that there is not a whole lot of great instructions for putting these miniatures together in any of the content that you will get for Kingdom Death Monster. That was always another oddity that I found. There is a little bit on their website for building some things, but there is a third-party website, The Broken Lantern, that does a good job showing how to put these together if you need help. Here's sprue number 2. One of the things I do like about this one is they have these little add-ons that you'll be able to hook to the branches of the tree that I think go along with this expansion, so you'll be able to get these and earn them during the game. We will, when we're looking at the rulebooks, we'll split the rulebook into 2 sections because I do like to keep my unboxings as spoiler-free, or 2 parts at least, where we have a spoiler-free section and a spoiler section. So there will definitely be a separate section where we show the full rulebook and cards if you want to stay spoiler-free. But we will be able to show you the first half of the rulebook, and it does talk about this tree and how you can use it to replace one of like the nightmare tree, if I remember. I can't remember off the top of my head, but one of the items, one of the trees in the game, which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of showing this as one of the first expansions, because even if you don't use the Lonely Tree expansions as part of your game, you can use the miniature here to bring more life to your core game. I do like that. I do like the look of everything here. I mean, it all looks very pretty. It's the game components that he does is always very nice, very premium. It was just always the boxing material and the packaging material that I've always found odd with the Kingdom Death Monster stuff. And that's just gruesome, the base of the tree. The little bits and stuff hanging on. Very cool. I do like this one an awful lot. Again, I like it because not only does it give you an expansion to the game, but it gives you a miniature that you can use as terrain, a difference, a substitution than for the little tile that they give you in the base and the core. Very cool. And here we have the miniature for the Lonely Lady. Now this is definitely where that MA 17 plus rating is coming in, because she is wearing practically nothing. But it is a very beautiful, very well detailed miniature. It does come with our normal base and insert, just the textured base, not the skull, but just kind of like, I'd almost call it like a concrete type texture base that you would fit in there. So it does have that. Let's go ahead and do a close-up of our miniature in there. Try to get a look at her face. So, I mean, it's very pretty. Her little knife and her lantern that she's holding. And I was definitely wrong about the contents of the box. As I was taking all the styrofoam out so I could put the miniature, the sprue back in for storage, I found this also hiding behind that little bit of cardboard. And it is a divider for the Lonely Tree. So this is nice that they go ahead and give you this. It does match the dividers for the rest of the game. So when you do add this and add these cards, all of these. So when you add all of the cards to the content of your game, you can have it divided up nicely. This does kind of give you an idea of how much card content there is. Of course, I will be showing these toward the end of the video during our spoiler section, but I do want to keep this half spoiler free. But it is nice that they have added this divider in here. Make sure you don't lose this. It would be, easily unnoticed. I know I didn't notice it my first pulling out, thinking that the instruction manual here was the only thing behind that. There was actually this divider as well. And here we have the instructions for the Lonely Tree expansion. Now I am only going to look at the first couple pages of this. The rest will be saved for our spoiler section. But to first give you an idea of what this expansion adds to your game without, giving you any of the lore or giving you any of the game content, where things are placed, that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and open this. And I do like, again, that little icon, how they give, everything its own little icon. That is very nice. And you can really see, you can see everything about it that makes it. You can see the lonely lady, kind of like the tree growing up. I really do like those. All right. So on our first page, we have our contents, our credits, a nice little drawing image for the Lonely Tree right here. Very nice. And then a little bit of a lore here. Very cool. Again, everything that you get, all the contents that you get within the expansion here. So we are getting 25 AR cards, 23 hit location cards, the hunt location event, one of those, 5 new strange resources, terrain card, and the Lonely Tree divider, which is again what that was. Upgrading your core game, that's nice. Adding it to your core game, the rules, and then here's where they're talking about that miniature. So you can use this to replace the Nightmare Tree token. That's very cool. Again, this is one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to get this one and wanted to show this one semi-early in my Kingdom Death showcase, being that this is something that even if you are not ready for the expansion itself, not ready to put in the expansion, it is something you still might want to add to your game, to add realism, to add, just play material to your game. I like that a lot. The rest of this we will save for our spoiler section, and in fact, that is coming up next.
The survivor paused in the darkness, crippled by an unknown feeling of loss. Their eyes swelled with unexpected tears. A hole opened in their heart. A warm hand slipped into the survivors. Looking up, they saw something they never expected. Although the survivor could not understand the stranger's words, they saw the truth in the stranger's eyes. They felt an identical hole in the stranger's heart. The survivor wanted nothing more than to protect her. Hand in hand, they returned to the settlement. Lying in each other's embrace, they felt the warmth of love fill their hearts and wrap around them. Together, they dreamed a perfect dream. They dreamed of the future. They dreamed of fulfillment. They dreamed of a life together. When the dream ended, the stranger awoke with a cry. The stranger's stomach was full, and she was alone. She felt something she did not want to accept, something she would forget over and over again. The hole in her heart could never be filled. There was no love for her, only hunger. The survivor that consumed the lonely fruit is dead. Survivors must depart this year for a special showdown with the lonely tree.
Here we are going to get into the spoiler section of the review or the rule book here. So again, make sure if this is something you don't want to see, this is a good time to stop. If it was, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing. I hope it has helped you to determine if this expansion is something you would like to get to add to your Kingdom Death monster. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the more spoiler-filled sections of the rules. Very cool. And again, we can get to that whole NC-17 bit, or that, mature section. That's gorgeous. That's the kind of a color view of that icon on the front. Very cool. And then the rules for the Lonely Tree Showdown. And then just some white pages. Here are all the different card types for this expansion. We have its basic action card with its rules on the other side, the hunt events, the strange resources, the terrain card, the hit locations, and the AI. For each one of these, all of the backs, are like this. Now we will go through all of the cards individually. Here we have the hunt event card. There is just this one card here. It does have the same back, of course, as all of the hunt events, so that way when you mix them up, you won't be able to tell this one from any of the other ones, from any other expansion or from the core game. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Next we have the terrain card. Same thing, same back as all the rest of the terrain cards from any other expansion or the core game. Again, so you can mix it in without notice. And there we go. Then we have its basic action. And then its levels and rules. Then it's AI deck. Now, of course, this back is distinct to the Lonely Tree because these are only used for the Lonely Tree, so it can't have the back. And this is very similar to any of the other monsters or anything that you have in the game. Like the White Lion, for example, it has its own back. Let's go ahead and flip through these. Then we have the hit locations. Same thing. This can have its own unique back for the Lonely Tree like the other monsters, being that you're only using these hit locations for this expansion. Let's go ahead and look through these. These are definitely very new cards. They're kind of hard to actually flip through, having to make sure that I don't accidentally skip one. And then finally we have our strange resources. Now these do have the same back as any other strange resource in the game, again, so they can be mixed in and where you can't tell the difference. Let's go ahead and look at these. Lonely fruit. Well, that is everything for the Lonely Tree expansion. I hope this unboxing has helped you to determine if this is something you would be interested in getting to add to your game of Kingdom Death Monster. Well, until next time, guys, I'll see you later.